"You've shamed this family," my father roared, slamming his glass down on the table so hard the stem snapped. "You married that man behind our backs, and now you stand here expecting blessings?" Before we begin, drop a comment and tell us where are you from and from which city you're watching our videos. And after watching the whole video, don't forget to tell us what would you do in this situation? Be honest, tell me in the comments below. We read every comment. Let's begin. The wine soaked into the ivory tablecloth, but no one moved. Not my mother, whose lips curled in disgust. Not my sister, who crossed her arms, enjoying the drama. And not me, standing there with a marriage license in my trembling hands. "I didn't ask for your blessings," I replied quietly, but my voice was steady. "I came to say goodbye." "Then go," he barked. "Go and don't come back." There was a pause. You could hear the ceiling fan creak. My heart beat so loud I could barely hear anything else. Then I turned around and walked out of their house. The house I'd helped paint when I was 16. The house where I once hung my college acceptance letter on the fridge. Nobody stopped me. Not even my mother, who just sat still, her nails digging into her wine glass like she was holding back from saying even worse. Outside, my husband was waiting in our beat-up blue car. Ethan. He wasn't rich, he wasn't polished, but he loved me in a way I never knew love could feel. Protective, respectful, unshakable. I slid into the passenger seat and shut the door softly. He looked at me, eyes scanning mine. Did they even say goodbye? I shook my head. He put the car in gear without another word. And just like that, I left my old life behind. For a while, it was hard. Really hard. We were in a shoebox apartment with a leaky roof and a landlord who forgot to fix things for months. I worked 2 jobs, receptionist by day, waitress by night. Ethan was finishing trade school. We had next to nothing, but we were a team. And then 6 months later, I found out I was pregnant. I cried in the bathroom for nearly an hour. Not because I was sad, but because I was terrified. I had no family, no safety net, no backup plan. But when I showed Ethan the test, he didn't blink. He pulled me into his arms and whispered, "We'll make it work. We always do." And we did. Our son, Liam, was born in the middle of a thunderstorm. I was in labor for 19 hours. I held his tiny fingers in mine and thought, he'll never know the cruelty I walked away from. He'll never have to beg for love. Ethan worked his way into a contracting business, eventually launching his own. Meanwhile, I pursued a side hustle of designing home interiors on social media. Slowly, we rose. Quietly, we built something. With no help, no apologies. And we never looked back. Until 12 years later, someone came knocking. It was a bright Saturday morning when I opened the gate and saw them. My mother, my father, my sister, and her new husband. All dressed sharp, expensive, like they'd just stepped out of a country club brochure. And they were frozen, just staring at the front of our house. The 6-bedroom craftsman I designed myself. The one with wraparound porches, cathedral ceilings, and a backyard that overlooked the lake. "Hi," I said, my voice calm. "You're here." My father looked like he'd swallowed a nail. My mother's mouth opened slightly. "Is this where you live?" I didn't answer. Just then, Liam came running out the front door, barefoot, holding a baseball glove.
"Mom."
He stopped short when he saw them. "Who are they?" I crouched beside him, kissed his forehead, and whispered, "Just people from my past." Then I stood and looked them dead in the eyes. "You wanted to see what came of the shame I brought to your family?" I gestured around us slowly.
"Well,
here it is." And for the first time in my life, my father took a step back. Speechless.
pale."
Almost regretful. But it was too late. Far, far too late. They stood there like statues. 4 of them, my entire bloodline, frozen on the walkway of the home they once said I didn't deserve to build. Ethan came outside, wiping his hands on a towel. He'd been fixing the sink. No designer shirt. No gold watch. Just a man with calloused hands and quiet strength. He paused when he saw them. "Everything all right?" he asked, stepping beside me protectively. I nodded. They're just leaving. My father's jaw clenched. We came to talk. I raised a brow. 12 years too late? We didn't come here to argue. My mother cut in, her voice controlled, but shaky. We came to see how you are. We heard you live here now. Really? I replied. After all these years, you heard I exist again? There was silence. My sister, Madison, stepped forward, sunglasses on her head like she was shielding herself from the reality in front of her. We thought you might want to reconnect. For Liam's sake. I laughed, quiet, sharp, and bitter. Don't say his name. You didn't even ask if I had a child. They exchanged glances. No one dared to argue. You married a contractor, my father muttered. And now you have this? Ethan narrowed his eyes.
Yeah.
We have this. A business.
A home.
A son who wakes up smiling. I added. And no thanks to you. My mother stepped forward, her tone softening like she was trying to slip into an old mask. Sweetheart, we made mistakes. You didn't make a mistake. You made a decision. You disowned me at a dinner table because I didn't follow your checklist. You never called. Never wrote. You couldn't even send a text when your grandson was born. She flinched. Good. Then my father finally snapped. We did what we thought was best for the family. Marrying someone like him. Someone like him? Ethan said quietly, but there was thunder in his tone. You mean someone who didn't come from money? My father's face went red. I stepped between them. You don't get to act shocked. You slammed a door 12 years ago, and now you're upset because I didn't wait on the porch for you to open it. We didn't know you'd become this, my sister whispered. You mean successful? I shot back. Happy? Loved. Madison blinked. Rich. That word. There it was. Because now they weren't here for closure. They were here for proximity to success. Ethan's contracting firm had been featured in Homestyle Digest. My interior design brand had crossed 800,000 followers. We were building luxury homes now. And apparently, the family who once disowned me had finally noticed. I took a step forward and smiled, just a little.
Well,
I hope the view was worth the drive. And then I turned around. Wait, my mother called. Can we just? But I was already walking back toward the house. Liam had gone back inside. I reached for the door. But before I went in, I said without turning back, don't show up here again without an invitation. And I closed the door gently, but firmly. Later that night, I found Ethan on the back porch, sipping coffee. He looked up as I joined him. You okay? Yeah, I said, exhaling. I think I actually am. They're going to try again, he warned. Now that they've seen what you've built. I know, I murmured. But I'm not the girl who cried outside their house anymore. He slid his hand into mine.
No.
You're the woman who built a better one. And in that moment, I didn't feel shame. I didn't feel rage. I felt power. Because they kicked me out with nothing. And I turned it into everything. The following week, I got an envelope. No stamp. Hand-delivered. I knew it was from them before I even opened it. Inside was a formal invitation, Madison's anniversary dinner. At some luxury hall downtown. Thick cardstock. Foil edges. My name etched in cursive like they suddenly remembered I existed. I dropped it in the trash, without blinking. But the next morning, they tried a different move. It was Saturday. I was helping Liam with a science project in the garage when Ethan came in looking uneasy. There's a car outside, he said. Your dad. And your sister. They brought someone. I stepped outside, wiping my hands on my jeans, and froze. They brought a gift. For Liam. A PlayStation 6, still sealed. A massive bow tied around it. And standing beside the shiny box, my father, looking awkward, and my sister, wearing a performative smile that didn't reach her eyes. Hi, Madison said lightly. We thought Liam might enjoy this. Liam peeked from behind me, confused. Who are they? Just go inside, honey, I said, my voice calm but sharp. Madison's smile faltered. Come on, don't be like that. We're trying. I folded my arms. You think this makes up for 12 years? We're family, my father muttered. No, I replied. You made it very clear I wasn't. He stepped forward. He deserves to know his grandparents. I could have laughed. You want to be grandparents now? When you don't even know his middle name. When you don't know that he likes dinosaurs, not video games? They stood there, stunned. You weren't there when I needed help with diapers or when he had his first fever. You weren't there when he called for his grandpa, and I had to lie and say he was far away. Madison bit her lip. People change. And some damage can't be undone. I shot back. You disowned me. Not just once, but every time you stayed silent. Every time you celebrated without me. Every time you didn't show up. But you're successful now, she said. Why hold on to the past? I took a step forward. Because the past shaped me. It taught me that blood doesn't mean loyalty. That love doesn't come with strings. That I was worth more than your approval. They went quiet. My father's eyes fell to the ground. I looked at the box again. Take it. He doesn't need bribes. He has love. Emily, my father tried. I turned to Ethan. Can you please walk them off the property? He didn't need more than that. Later that night, Liam asked, were those people really my grandparents? I nodded slowly. Why don't they visit? I met his eyes and crouched to his level. Because sometimes people don't treat others the way they should. And when someone makes you feel small, even if they're family, you're allowed to walk away. He thought for a second. Is that why you walked away? Yes, I whispered. He hugged me tightly. I'm glad you did. And for the second time in one day, my heart shattered and healed at the same time. 3 days later, I got tagged in a post. It was Madison's anniversary dinner. Some influencer had posted a video, lavish chandeliers, champagne towers, and a custom-made cake taller than a kid. But what caught my eye? The speech. Madison stood at the mic, smiling for the cameras. Family is everything, she said dramatically. Even when some of us choose to walk away, we still leave a place for them. Always. My stomach turned. The crowd clapped. A few gasped. The comments were flooding in. OMG, what happened? Was this about her sister? Some people don't know what they're missing. I didn't say a word. But by evening, Ethan found me staring at my phone.
She's baiting you, he said.
Don't bite. She's rewriting the story, I replied. And they believe her. He sat beside me, quiet for a second. Do you want to tell your side? No, I said. I want them to stop acting like I need to. But the next morning, a reporter showed up. From a local family magazine. Friendly face. Microphone in hand. We'd love to feature your story, she chirped. You've built such a life after a rough start. Your family mentioned wanting to mend things. Maybe we can help. I nearly laughed. They sent you? She hesitated. Well, they may have mentioned it. I gave her one answer. No comment. Hours later, my mother called. That was a surprise. She hadn't called me in a decade. But there her name was Mom, still saved in my phone like a ghost. I picked up. I assume you saw the dinner clip, she said. Yes. You could have come, Emily. You were invited. To be paraded? I asked. To be the black sheep at your charity dinner for image? Her voice tightened. It's not about image. Then what is it about? Control? She went quiet. Here's the truth, I said, voice flat. You pushed me out when it cost you nothing. Now that I have something, suddenly I'm worth chasing. That's not fair. No, I interrupted. What's not fair is pretending we're family after 12 years of silence.
Click.
I ended the call. Not out of rage, but out of peace. I didn't owe them my presence. And I definitely didn't owe them my silence. A week later, I heard the knock again. This time, I didn't open right away. I watched through the side window. It wasn't just my parents. It was all of them. Madison, her husband, my father, visibly aged, and my mother holding a thick envelope. Ethan was behind me in seconds. You sure you want to do this? I nodded once. Let's end it. I opened the door. Madison gave a soft smile. We're not here to fight. My father stepped forward, slower this time. We're here to apologize. I said nothing. My mother handed me the envelope. It's a letter. We all wrote it. I didn't take it. Madison added quickly. We also came to ask one thing.
What?
I said. We want to meet Liam. Just once. No strings. No cameras. Nothing public. Just one moment. Ethan glanced at me, then back at them. I paused. They looked different. Tired.
Smaller.
No flash. No performance. I finally said, wait here. I went inside. Liam was on the couch, reading. I knelt beside him. There's something I want to ask you. Some people outside want to meet you. It's up to you. Just a quick hello. You don't have to if you don't want.
He thought a moment, then shrugged.
I'm curious. So I opened the door. Liam stepped out, cautious but polite. Hi. My father's eyes welled instantly. You look just like her. Madison smiled, emotional. You're taller than I imagined. Liam gave a small nod. I kept it brief. That's enough for today. And without a word of protest, they nodded. As they turned to leave, my father said over his shoulder, we lost a daughter. That was our fault. But we're proud of the woman she became. And for the first time in 12 years, I felt something new in their voices. Regret. Not the kind you fake for a magazine spread. The kind that comes when you realize the door you closed stayed closed. Later, I opened the envelope. Inside were letters.
Honest.
Imperfect. Written in trembling hands. They didn't fix everything, but they acknowledged it. That mattered more than the silence ever did. As the sun dipped over our lake, Liam curled beside me on the porch swing. Will they come again? He asked. Maybe, I said. And if they don't, I smiled gently. We'll still be just fine. Because we were. We had love. We had peace. We had each other. And no one could take that from us again.